Time has expired. I call the honourable member for Deakin.
Well, thanks very much, Mr Deputy Speaker. This is an extraordinary MPI today, and to have the member for Grayndler with his glass jaw get up and give a personal explanation in the middle of an MPI just shows how outrageous this is. This government is making $50 billion worth of commitments in productivity-enhancing infrastructure. We've initiated a $5 billion asset recycling initiative, and that just shows that we are committed to building the infrastructure that our cities, our country and our regions need. But today I want to talk about a project which is going to be a millstone around the neck of the Labor Party in Victoria, and that's the abandonment of the East-West Link project, the single biggest infrastructure project in the country. And we have seen the member for Grayndler, the opposition leader and all members that sit over there in Victoria standing shoulder to shoulder with Daniel Andrews, who has spent up to $1 billion not to build an East-West Link, even after the Premier of Victoria said that he would not spend $1 to cancel the contract. So we've seen up to $1 billion of hard-earned taxpayers' dollars spent not to build a piece of infrastructure that Rod Eddington in 2008 said was the most crucial piece of infrastructure that Victoria needed. And the Leader of the Opposition signed 2 submissions to that inquiry saying that it was important for jobs and for the Victorian economy. So has the Opposition Leader changed his mind? Well, yes. Unfortunately, finally we got him to answer, because for months and months he squirmed and he wiggled and he wouldn't answer the question, but finally we nailed him and he said, no, I support Daniel Andrews cancelling the East-West Link contract and spending up to $1 billion to do so. Well, Infrastructure Australia just a couple of weeks ago released their report on the infrastructure needs for Victoria, and it highlighted the 2 greatest areas that would have the biggest impact on the Victorian economy, $9 billion per year, and the worst traffic congestion in Victoria was highlighted as being between CityLink and the Eastern Freeway and the Eastern Freeway itself. $9 billion of cost to the Victorian economy. Now, the East-West Link would have addressed those 2 bottlenecks the most. $9 billion of drag on the Victorian economy now, in addition to the $1 billion that was splashed up against the wall by the Labor Party, with full support of the opposition leader and the full support of every Victorian member in this House today. So I say our record is proud on infrastructure. We want to build the East-West Link, and we have committed $3 billion will remain there for any future Victorian government that will build it. And let's be honest, it's going to be built. The East-West Link will be built, and everybody will look at that $1 billion that was wasted as an absolute crying shame. And indeed, last week the Prime Minister announced another great project for Victoria. Putting aside our disappointment at the outrage of the East-West Link, we're committing $150 million to complete the M80 ring road between Sunshine Avenue and the Calder. And it's outrageous, absolutely outrageous, that the State Labor Party would then come cap in hand after splashing $1 billion against the wall. But for the benefit of Victorians, we'll put that aside, because we will not punish Victorians for the reckless decisions of Labor. And the member for Grayndler supported the East-West Link alongside the opposition leader until they had a conversion, a late conversion before the state election. And unfortunately, you're all bound to support Dan Andrews, and I know in your heart of hearts you think it's an outrageous decision, and you should put your constituents first, get up in this House and say we will not support someone creating the sovereign risk and ruining the livability of our suburbs. Because I'm sorry to say it, Labor, not everybody lives within 3 kilometres of the CBD. I know that's all you're worried about, and you're trying to appease the Greens, and if you don't live within a 3-kilometre radius of the CBD, you're forgotten. Well, I'm sorry. My constituents need to use their car. My constituents need to get on the Eastern Freeway, and that's why we are committing $3 billion. It will remain available for the East-West Link, and it will remain a millstone around your necks until election day. because Victorians want the East-West Link built, and I can assure you everyone in the outer eastern suburbs wants it built, and it will be built.
Order.